Transitioning from a hustler to a CEO can be very daunting, especially when the belief is if I don't do it, it won't get done properly. But what if you could increase your revenue while working less? We engineered the Architect Delegation System. This is something we use to scale our business to $227,000 a month while working less, and we now implement for all of our partners, including Will, who is on track to do $60,000 cash collected this month while doing less work than ever before. And this is some fancy hack or new tactic. This is a proven system that works for any business at any point in time. Because you need to think of your business like a garden. If you're the only one watering it, tending to it, planting all of the seeds, it's never gonna grow because you don't have time to plant more seeds. But with the right tools and the right team in place, you now have more time. You've created a sprinkler system that maintains your garden, giving you more time to plant more seeds. And so ultimately, if you want to scale your business, create more freedom for yourself, and have more time making more money while doing less, just like Will is currently doing, watch this video to the very end because I'm going to break this down into 3 key concepts that you can implement today. Now, first and foremost, hustling harder is holding you back. Hustling got you to 10, 20K a month, but it's also the cage that is keeping you trapped below that. And so this is the duality of entrepreneurs. The man on the left, this is the hustler, the guy who built his business from the ground up. He's chaotic, he's all over the place, he's got short-term thinking, he's very dependent on his business and vice versa, and he's always busy, but busy doesn't equal productive. And so in order to implement this system correctly, we need to create a shift in your identity. We need to become someone who is proactive, organized, long-term thinking. You're in control of your business, not the other way around, and this eliminates chaos. And so what I'm getting at here is that hustle got you from the ground up to 10, 15, 20K a month. But in order to scale, create more freedom and generate more revenue, we need to shift our identity. And so the idea needs to become, who can I get to do this for me? How can I create a system that will take care of this for me? How can I create a mechanism that's going to make sure my business is being maintained so I can focus on the growth? So the first step to utilizing a new system is actually creating the identity that allows you to utilize it. It's like giving a Ferrari to a homeless man. He doesn't know how to drive it, and so it's not as powerful as it could be. You need to teach this man how to operate a supercar, how to use the gears and the brake pedal and the accelerator correctly, what petrol to put in the car. This is about an identity shift. And so it's about letting go of the way you used to think. If you are someone who thinks, if I don't do it, it's not going to get done properly. How do I make sure that people get things done on time? How can I trust someone else to meet my standards? These are all belief patterns that are tied to your hustler identity that actually stop you from being able to delegate, build a team, and create leverage inside of your business, which will create more freedom. Because when we create this shift in identity, what happens is we create more capacity to then generate more leverage, to spend time on the high leverage needle moving activities. And so growing a business comes down to strategic growth, planning new projects, and concept planning. Right? You don't grow a business by fulfilling for your clients. You don't grow a business by working on your offer. You grow a business by working out, how can I get more people in? What is a new strategic growth plan I can create? And how can I provide more value to my audience to generate more money? But the time you're spending on maintenance tasks and fulfilling on your current clients and effectively not getting your team to do shit for you, that is time taken away from growth. So before we actually implement the strategy and we create these mechanisms, we need an identity shift, and we need to understand that just because we're not doing shit doesn't mean it doesn't get done. And so this is going to bring me into the next pillar, because your team's performance has nothing to do with how good they are at what they do. It is a direct reflection of your ability to lead effectively. And so I'm actually going to pull up one of Will's dashboards right now. This is something we have built for him, and this has helped him create more leverage, and as I said, scale his revenue by working less. And so this is his delegation system. This is something we built and implemented for him about 15 or 16 days ago, and it has changed the way he is operated. The first time we spoke with Will, it was about the identity shift. He said, and I quote on this call, "It all seems so confusing. I have so much fucking shit in my head. I don't know what to do." This eliminated that. And so, as you can see here, there are multiple assets on this table. There's the tasks that need to be done. There is the status of the task. Does it need to be done? Is it in progress? Does the person need help? And does it need to be checked? And then the assignee. So who needs to do this task? Who's it been assigned by? So as you can see, there's a few in here that have been assigned by us, our team, Architect Acquisition, but most of these tasks have been assigned by Will himself. There's one task here assigned by one of his team members. Due date, and then SOPs. This is going to be a conversation for a separate video, the SOP architect mechanism. But what this system is doing is it's giving Will leverage to make sure that shit gets done properly. And so he used to operate like this. He would go, cool, I need this thing done. I'm going to do it myself. If I don't know how to do it, for example, he's got someone running his ads. He would send a message to his ads manager on WhatsApp and say, hey bro, can you sort this out? And can you fix up this ad campaign? And here's the creative. And also editor, can you please edit this and send it to the ads manager? It was all just a big spiderweb of fuckery. And although it seems fine, this was consuming so much of Will's time and so much of his mental real estate. And so what we've done now is created a central database for Will to be able to delegate. And so all Will needs to do is come down here, add in a new task, and go, for example, the task for me, create WhatsApp automation for call reminders. He doesn't need to message me. He simply goes, assign it to Nick, assigned by Will. When's it due? It's due tomorrow. And then what he will do is create an SOP, and again, this is a separate video, a separate topic, but he'll create an SOP, which is super in-depth. It's the how, the why, the when, and the if you get stuck. He'll document all of that in video and text and action step format, place that in here, and then I don't need to contact him if I don't know what I'm doing. I simply click on that, and it's gonna give me the full instructions. And so this has saved time for Will, it has saved his mental real estate, and it's created more leverage for him, because now, whenever he needs something done, he just whacks it in here, and he knows it's gonna get done. Because I made Will organize a call with his team as soon as we implemented this to set the frame off the bat, because his main belief was, how do I know they're gonna get shit done? And I said to him, it is your business, you set the standard, you decide whether they get it done or not. And so he had a call with his team, and he said, gentlemen, this is the new standard. When I add something to this Task Central database, it needs to be done by the due date. If you need help, do not message me, message my executive assistant, which is the next pillar. And so this was an executive assistant that we hired, we trained, and we placed inside of Will's business, and she has changed the game. Her name is Shatsi, and as you can see, she is right here. She has a lot of tasks assigned to her that she's probably already completed. As you can see here, these are all the tasks that she has already completed. That is within the last 3 days. We placed her 3 days ago. This is leverage that has been created for Will. And so whenever anyone inside of Will's team needs help, whether it's his setter, his web developer, his ads manager, for example, his YouTube editor, his ads manager is here. If they need help, it's not, hey Will, can you help me do this? Can you send me the login details for your ads manager? It's, Shatsi, please help me with this. Will doesn't even know what's going on. All he knows is what he needs done is getting it done. And if there's any bottlenecks, Shatsi takes care of it. If Shatsi doesn't know how to solve the problem, what does she do? She goes, hey Will, this is what needs to be done. Can we please document a solution to the problem? Then that's where we document that in the SOP Central, which is a separate video. And it's just unlimited leverage, because over time we end up documenting so much that there is not a problem inside of this business that cannot be solved by going to this SOP Central. And so this has created unlimited leverage for Will. And this brings me into the final piece of the puzzle, and this is a combination of strategy and identity shift. We have told this statement to Will countless times, and we have driven it home until it's become a part of his identity. Who can I get to do this for me? It doesn't matter if it's planning a trip, booking an Airbnb, hiring a cleaner for your house, hiring a chef, creating an end-of-day report, sending invoices, onboarding a new team member, whatever it is, we have taught Will that he, before he does anything himself, he says, who can I get to do this for me, and how can I get them to do it? And so although this seems so insignificant, maybe it's a 2-minute task, he even said this yesterday, he said, it's easy for me to just do it, it's gonna take longer to delegate it. It doesn't matter how long it takes, because everything you do takes up some of your mental real estate. Even if it's a 2-minute task and it's typing in an invoice and sending it off, it's still something you need to think about. And if you have 100 of those things in your head, that's 100 things you're thinking about every day. Whereas if you are always thinking, who can I get to do this for me, and how can I make sure that they get it done repeatedly, all of a sudden you don't need to think about all of these tedious micromanagement tasks that are required in order for your business to be maintained. And so this has been incredibly beneficial to us. This is something we implemented, of course, inside of our agency that we scaled to $227,000 a month. And we had upwards of 10 staff members. And whenever we needed anything done, whether it was for us or for a client, the first thought we had was send this to our executive assistant, find out who can do this, make sure they get it done on time, make sure they get it done properly. If there are any challenges, let us know. We will document the solution. So in future, they can simply go to that database and find the solution themselves. And so, like I've said countless times throughout this video, these are not systems that we've pulled out of our ass and copied off some other guru and just started implementing for our clients. These are all systems we used and battle tested ourselves first to scale our business to $227,000 a month before we started implementing them for our partners. And so I'm going to go into this just one step further. When it comes to the Task Central system, which we obviously just went through, when it comes to delegating to your executive assistant and utilizing your team, there are a number of key pillars that must be hit. The first is the how. And so this is a Loom video, not just explaining how to do the task, but actually doing the task itself. This is going into every single button you click on your keyboard, every letter you type, every window you open. This is showing the task from start to finish in excruciating detail, like you're explaining it to a 6-year-old. This means now that not only they know how to do the task and your team is able to replicate it, but all they need to do is just copy, click for click, what you're doing on your screen, and they will achieve the same outcome as you do. And if this is documented, that means that anyone that comes into your business Anyone can replicate it, whether it's a 5-year-old or an 80-year-old. All they need to do is copy what you were doing on your screen and the outcome will be achieved. Next is the why. And so this is operating from a place of first principles. When you understand the reason behind doing something, you're able to do it more effectively. For example, if you're cooking a steak and you understand that there's more nutrients when it's a rarer steak, you now know not to cook it and do it too well done. If you fundamentally know that a well done steak is eliminating a lot of the nutrients, it's not just about, oh, I'm going to do it rare instead of well done. It's about, I understand the fundamental principle behind why I'm doing it this way, which allows it to stick more. And there's also now consequence behind not doing it properly. So this is super important. First principles thinking, why are we doing this task? What is the outcome we're achieving and why are we not doing it in another way? Next is the when. You need to be really clear on when this task is actually due, and it sounds super fucking obvious, but a lot of people fail to realize that Parkinson's law states a task will expand to fit the time that is given to complete it. And so if you set a deadline for your team, make sure that this is a time in which they should be required to get the task done. And what we would normally do is actually do the task ourselves, time ourselves, and then expand it by 10 or 20% because obviously they're not going to be able to perform as well as we do until they've practiced it. And that is the deadline we would give them. So this is super important. Next is a quality check. And so when you are delegating things to your team inside of that system, this system right here, when you are delegating inside of this system, you need to, at the beginning, implement a quality check feedback loop. And what I recommend doing is delegating a task, getting a team member to do it, but Loom record the entire process. They upload that Loom to the task itself, submit it for feedback. You watch the Loom, you record a Loom in response to that, explaining what they did really well, which is positive reinforcement, and it tells them, cool, I'm going to do that again and get better at doing that thing. It tells them what they can improve and become more efficient at, which then highlights, cool, this is how the task was performed. I did it really well, but this would allow me to do it more efficiently and effectively. And then it's a constant feedback loop because you are now documenting not just how to do the task, but every time someone does it, you're highlighting inefficiencies and making it more efficient and more effective. And so the feedback loop is super important. The next thing is the creation. Now, again, topic for a separate video, but if anything needs to be done more than 3 times, you need to automate the task creation and the delegation of this task. And so we have a system, and it's a very fucking simple system. Whenever we receive a payment from a new client, of course we onboard them, but it automatically adds a task to our dashboard, assigns it to our executive assistant, and links it to the SOP explaining, cool, we've onboarded a new client, go and do this task. So now it's not even about delegating anymore. The task is automatically created when it needs to be created. And so if you need something done every single day, for example, we have an end of day report that gets filled out by our executive assistant. We have an automated task creation every day that sends this task to our assistant, reminds them to complete it. We don't even have to think about it. All we know is we get a text message at the end of the day saying, these are all the important pieces of information and data from your business for the day. I don't even know when she did it or how she filled it out. It was just done because we have systemized it. And finally, you need automated reminders. And so this comes down to if the task is not done by the deadline, by the due date, you need to set up a system that automatically reminds them to get it done. And so in summary, if you want to scale your business by making more money, working less, and creating more freedom, because freedom is the reason we all got into entrepreneurship, you need to transition from a hustler to a CEO, because hustle got you to 10, 20, maybe even 30K, but hustle is also keeping you trapped. Hustle is the very reason you cannot surpass 50, 60, $100,000 a month. You need to build a strong team, even implementing an executive assistant off the bat. This is something that must be done in order to create more leverage, because your ability to delegate and run a team, the performance that they put on has nothing to do with how good they are, if they're an A player or a B player. It has everything to do with your ability to lead. And finally, anything that needs to be done repetitively, automate it, automate the task creation if it needs to be delegated to a human, and ultimately free up more time for yourself to focus on strategic growth and marketing. And so I promise you, if you implement every single one of these steps into your business, you begin delegating, you become a better delegator, you refine your leadership capacity, and you systemize and automate everything that needs to be done on a repetitive basis, not only will your revenue grow, but you will unlock more freedom inside of your business. So remember, the journey from a hustler to a CEO who has freedom, time, and scale is all about systemizing, automating, and delegating to your team effectively. So click below and give me a follow so we can continue building together.